in social media viewership, which has been huge for sponsor exposure and our team's visibility. We also had the opportunity this year to collaborate with the Adelaide Rally more than ever before, which included interviews with our team members on their official social media platforms. That helped put AUMT at the forefront of a much wider motorsport audience and strengthen our connection with the broader community. Alongside that, we've actually been working with the University of Adelaide's media team to create a professional feature of AUMT. They've been filming in the workshop and interviewing team members, and the project is currently in its post-production stage, which is super exciting. Another big focus for us this year has been sponsorship, acquisition, and member development. We ran a sponsorship development workshop to upskill our team, helping members learn how to approach companies and communicate professionally, and liaise with industry partners in their chosen fields. This wasn't just about getting funding, but it was about making our members industry ready, and that paid off. Through this work, we successfully acquired 6 new sponsors this year, and financially we've also worked hard in the team through a mixture of sponsorships, grant applications,
to the monocoque. This journey began last year with the design and manufacture of it by a group of honours students with our team. Over several intense weeks, they produced this lightweight and very torsionally stiff chassis. This brought us to this year, which came with the challenge of turning that monocoque into a car. This came with the challenge of attaching components to the chassis, which is done through composite bonding and these little critters are inserts. These inserts are installed by drilling a hole, boring out the core around the hole, and then injecting epoxy for bonding. By rules, each mount must withstand 15 kilonewtons, so a big focus this year was on understanding the strength of these. So in order to implement these, we needed to do lots of testing. So this involved fabricating composite panels, installing inserts in them, and then subjecting them to some testing. So by rules, they must withstand 15 kilonewtons. So a big focus was on understanding their strength. So we tested various ways of these, including different potting radiuses and pad-up thicknesses, and achieved a strength of 18 kilonewtons, which is quite a substantial force. Alongside this testing, we saw a full redesign of many major components to adapt insert mounting. These included drivetrain mounts, steering mounts, suspension mounts, to name a few. This gave us an opportunity to dabble with CAD and FEA as well. So armed with a strong insert design, we then tackled the challenge of putting components onto the car. This involved scanning the monocoque, and creating jigs. So that brief overview of our road to implementing a monocoque represents a steep learning curve and one that has yielded a high quality result. Seeing the monocoque transformed from a CAD model to a car has been an awesome opportunity for me to lead. Moving into 26, we are looking at taking the lessons learnt this year and building a new and improved monocoque. This is something I'm very excited about, and I hope you are too. So before I hand off to Hayden, who will discuss vehicle dynamics, I want to thank the team again and thank our sponsors for their generosity, especially those who helped out with monocoque. Cheers.
Hello, my name is Hayden, and I'll give you a quick overview of the work completed done by Vehicle Dynamics this year, covering our simulation development, increased adjustability within the car, and the on-track validation that's happened already before we reach competition this year. So to begin with, one of our biggest developments was a complete overhaul of our off-track simulation environment using one of our sponsors, Chassis Sim. We rebuilt the entire simulation workflow, which includes a new circuit model, car models, and a fully developed tyre and aerodynamic model off-track. This allows us to dramatically improve our correlation between simulation and reality. In that black box on the left-hand side of the screen there, where we previously saw large discrepancies, we've now reached a difference of around 1.4 seconds a lap, which is a huge step forward from our team. This improvement means our simulation can now meaningfully guide our setup and design decisions before we even get to a test day. For this car, we introduced several key changes aimed at increasing adjustability and making the platform more tunable to help maximise the new chassis and aerodynamic package on this car. We implemented new front and rear roll center adjustments, giving us far more control over the chassis control. We also introduced a revised steering system with expanded adjustability to both driver preference and track conditions. Alongside this, an updated multi-link pushrod actuated suspension system with 5-way, giving us the most ever before on an AMT car. Lastly, we spent a large portion of the year characterising how all these systems will interact with each other. With a new monocoque, through understanding the mechanical balance of the new monocoque, we have understood and can make more educated setup decisions and setup decisions. From all this, we were able to refine the setup package to deliver better grip and confidence to all our drivers. By integrating our on-track data into our development cycle, we've been able to continuously iterate and refine our offline decision making. I'll go over to electrical with Noah.
Hello everyone, my name is Noah and I'm the electrical subsystem leader for this year. As Tom talked about, the monocoque is quite a big project. Some assemblies didn't quite carry over, or wasn't simple enough to carry over, such as our RHS box and our LV table, which had to be redesigned and manufactured. I'm going to switch slides. There we go. You can see on the left, bottom left is our RHS box switch plate with all of our switching and interface when we start up the car, and on the right is our LV table seated above our inverter and accumulator. So it's a bit of a reshuffle of everything, and that's why we had to redesign and manufacture new challenge with the monocoque. And our biggest takeaway for electrical when designing and redesigning and manufacturing this was dealing with composites. It's mostly been Aero who'd done their composites for most of the car, so talking to Ethan and James about tolerances, molds and techniques such as stiffening the LV table as it's supported at the ends. Taking those into consideration for our manufacturing is a big thing. Going to our next big project is our dash. So our last dash was from 2023, so we decided it was a time for a redesign. So we decided to go with a pure PCB instead of having a composite faceplate. This made it so we could reduce costs and simplify it on the electrical end and open up our design flexibility. Drivers reported that, or told us that the LED bar graphs from 2023 were a bit hard to read during endurance when they were trying to drive the line on how much to push, how much to pull back. So we decided to go with alphanumeric LED digits, which give you a number output, such as a percentage. It's easy to read when doing endurance. It also had the additional benefit of giving error messages or instructions to the driver, such as at the moment you can see it saying BMS stage. Starts talking about without shutdown circuit for getting the car to drive, just meaning that's not quite closed yet, which is really helpful for some debugging. It really opens up what we can do for the car. Finally, our biggest project for 2025 was inverter tuning. So on the bottom left you can see the inverter, so the dyno setup with all the controls for that. We talked to a lot of people, a lot of research with the uni. We were fortunate enough to talk to Professor Nasimi and Sung, and they organised us to use their small dyno, and that helped us calibrate the resolver, which is the position sensor on the motor, and that's really critical for low speed, for the inverter to tell where exactly the motor is and for powering that under about 5k an hour. So it was really useful for acceleration. This is where it's really important to get good scores at competition. We want the inverter to know where exactly the motor is to crank out the most amount of performance. So there's a lot of time spending talking to Cascadia about their PID control inside, and just a lot of time on the dynos, which I like to thank Gabby for, and other people who also helped out with that. In summary, electrical, we haven't made too many changes this year, but that was to limit scope so that we could really help with our monocoque and be really performant this year. Thank you. Go over to Arrow.
Hi everyone, I'm James. I've been kind of around and about for the last 18 months, but I have been the area lead for the last 6, and also special thanks goes to Ashley, who's currently doing his exchange in Southampton. He was leading the area team at the start of this year, so I hope he's enjoying the UK at the moment. Starting with aero, maybe one of the bits of the car you don't really see is the internals. This year the aero team took it upon ourselves to redesign our battery cooling, our accumulator, as the electrical team calls it. So obviously with the monocoque, it's a bit more sealed in than the tubuless chassis we've had before, so cooling has been a bit more of a concern for us. So we've kind of improved on what has in the past been kind of a duct tape solution in the end. And this year, it's gone the wrong way. We've developed our own ducted system. So it goes from the back of the accumulator out the back of the car, and it's powered by 2 new fans that we've got that are less than the combined power draw that we previously had. So yeah, we've seen a significant improvement on the battery cooling, and it's actually quite cool. You can stand behind the car and it kind of feels like a jet engine blowing on you, which is quite a cool feature that I think people at competition will enjoy. Now, kind of overviewing aero for a whole subsystem, our work has kind of been a continuation of the last 2 years of kind of re-adding serious downforce to our car compared to where we've been in the past. That predominantly started last year with what was ultimately my honours project and the rest of the work of the team in developing some CFD tools, CAD tools and manufacturing abilities. So last year we put on a prototype wing package you can see here, and then this year it's kind of been about fully executing that vision of an aero package. So last year we began making wings with a more simple method, which we had completely straight sections. There was no curvature going sideways on them, which involved wrapping carbon fibre around a foam core. It's got its own technique, but it was really good for making a first package, but it does come with its own limitations on the actual surface quality you get and the accuracy to the CAD file. And now this year we've kind of expanded on that with the help of some of our sponsors, alumni and good engineering advice to execute a better manufacturing method for more complicated shapes. So we've had CNC tooling for the upper and lower surfaces, which include jigs for all of our important mounting, so that everything stays exactly where it was, as opposed to just kind of gluing it in place last year. And yeah, it's been a significant improvement, which has allowed us to push the actual design of our aero package further. In terms of workflow improvements, for us, CFD and CAD, computational fluid dynamics, so like simulating the airflow, has been the 2 biggest kind of things that have enabled progress for us in the last year. So on the CAD side, we designed the car in a completely different CAD software to the rest of the team. We have a what's called a parametric model of the car with surfaces. You can kind of see the flow here. We define the sections and movement of all of our wings, and we define our own aerofoil sections. And we actually, this year, we have fully custom-made aerofoils for each of our wings, which is not something many teams can say. So we get to choose our own kind of favourable pressure distribution across all of those. As well as that, we've worked hard on improving our CFD model, so that allows us to do simulations quicker and get more important data out of it to help improve our car for next time. In terms of the geometry of our car, we had the fortunate ability to start from a blank slate with the monocoque team last year, so we've been able to kind of bake in a few things to the actual chassis on the nose cone and underneath the car that have helped us kind of improve the aero performance from the start. And then using the tools, knowledge and learning that we've kind of done over the last 2 years, we've been able to design about 180 different unique geometries that have been tested. So in some areas of the car where one part might be designed, our group combined has made 180 different ones that have been tested and refined throughout the year. So it's been an awesome job from everyone to get through all those. And for us, it's really been a focus on being pragmatic what we're adding, not just kind of adding squiggly bits to the car because for the sake of it, but making sure that every part on the car is worth its own weight in downforce. And for that this year, we've landed on a final downforce value of CLA, the coefficient of lift times area of 4.6, a drag coefficient of area 1.75, and of that downforce, 53% of that is balanced on the front. Now, for context, in more real numbers, at 60 kilometers an hour, that means 80 kilograms of downforce on the car, and then when the car gets to near full speed at 100 kph, it's making basically its own weight in downforce, which is, super impressive. So it's been awesome this year. The aero team's really pushed a long way, so I hope the whole aero team can be proud of the work we put in, and there's still a lot more to come in the future. So I'll pass over to the honours group for this year, which is doing more stuff for next year.
Good day everyone, thank you for your patience today. So, as James has said, we've decided this year to also have an honours project, following in the footsteps of last year, where we actually had, as you can tell, the monocoque and the aero. Now clearly all these subsystems, as you can tell, are quickly running out of things to do. They're nitpicking their little spots, so we decided, let's complicate everything. So Zane and myself, Alex, we decided to do hub drive. So what is hub drive? Currently the car in its current configuration has one motor that powers a differential that powers the rear wheels. Now this is great, but it does come with its limitations, mainly traction. Basically, when you launch the car, when you come out of a corner, the car has a tendency to oversteer, and this can lose time in pretty much all events. Pretty much all the teams that are really pushing the top now, they've all driven to hub drive, which is putting a singular motor in each wheel, and then using a gearbox to reduce the RPM and increase the torque. So for a bit of context, the current motor package we have produces about 800 Newton meters of torque to the rear wheels. We're looking to about double that, actually even more, 2.25 times. Now this does come with its own technical challenges, but it also comes with its advantages. So we're adding weight to the wheels, which is unsprung mass, but we're also removing a lot of weight and a lot of space from inside the monocoque, so we can actually narrow everything down. So this is what Thomas was talking about earlier. With a new monocoque, they'll be much narrower. But then again, with a much narrower monocoque, we also have to, electrical has to step up, and they'll have to redesign the whole accumulator package and all of their loom to make sure everything still fits. It's going to be a bit of a challenge. We have greatly underestimated the actual effort it takes to develop these gearboxes. But we're still very keen to get it done. And to help us with that, this year we've actually gained a new sponsor, KissSoft. They're a primary gearbox development software, and they were very kind to lend us 5 licenses throughout the year to develop our gearbox. And we've also got a new sponsorship from DTI, Drivetrain Innovations, who have actually developed a new motor package this year, and we happily to say we're one of the first customers in Australia to actually purchase this package at a sponsored price. This package also allows us to do something called torque vectoring. Instead of just powering a set of wheels and leaving it at that, we actually can choose the power sent to each individual wheel that can help the car rotate through corners or reduce traction loss through each wheel. Thank you for your time today. Hope you guys have a great night.
Thank you to all of our leaders and future honours members for giving us an insight into the past, present and future aspirations of the team. Looking forward, the AUMG is in a position to be competitive for a top 5 finish at competition, with the integration of hub motors in addition to a monocoque and aggressive aerodynamics package. Not only this, we have the privilege of amalgamating with Uni SA Motorsport team next year as part of the university merger. With twice as many people, we look forward to building a car that's twice as fast. With continued support from both universities, we look ahead with ambition and excitement as we introduce the first generation of motorsport at Adelaide University. I'd now like to call Alicia back up to the stage to present our certificates of appreciation to our generous sponsors.
We'd now like to take a moment to recognise and thank the incredible companies and organisations who have supported us through this journey. Words cannot describe how important our sponsors are to us. Their sponsorship hasn't just helped us to build a car, but it's also helped us to build a team, develop our skills, and push the boundaries of what we thought was possible this year. Every late night in the workshop, every design iteration, and every step forward has been made possible because of their belief in our vision. We're extremely grateful for their continued support, and we're very excited to present them with a small token of our appreciation this evening. So, to begin with our sponsor presentations, I'd like to call up our first representative to the stage. Please welcome Ben Crossman, representing the University of Adelaide. Ben is here not only on behalf of one of our most important sponsors, but also serves as our faculty advisor, providing constant guidance, mentorship, and invaluable support throughout our journey. Next up, I would like to invite up Damien Heath, representing AU Sports. Representing our long-term sponsors, Adelaide, please welcome up Paul Vanderloo. Representing GPA, please welcome up Sean Shivaraman. Representing Maddens, please welcome up Claire Slade. Representing Walls That Talk, please welcome up Sylvia Shea. And last but not least, representing Pinnacle Composites, please welcome up Jack Bain. And just a special mention to all of our sponsors who could not make it tonight. And please give a round of applause to all of our sponsors. I'll now hand over to Erin for our closing remarks.
Thank you, Alicia and Hamish. As you would have just seen, your contributions have enabled us to drive our aspirations to be a competitive team at this year's competition, while setting the team up for success in the future. On behalf of the team, I'd like to sincerely thank you all for your countless hours of support in helping us get to where we are today. We hope that our partnerships can continue for years to come. In addition to our sponsors, we'd also like to extend our thanks to the technicians at the University of Adelaide for your abundant support this year. Whether that be last-minute jobs on the water jet cutter or bearing with us rescheduling our tech inspection run-through 4 times. Thanks, Ben. We would not be here tonight without your ongoing support and guidance. So thank you for everything that you have done to help us get our car on track well in advance of competition. To all our friends and family tonight, thank you for supporting us in pursuing our goals within the team. I trust that tonight will give you all a glimpse into how 5 more minutes in the workshop turns into 5 more hours. Without your unconditional support in the background, we would not be able to commit so wholeheartedly to the team and really make the most out of being a part of this club. To our 2025 leaders, Hamish, Alicia, Jessica, Hayden, Ashley, James, Noah, Thomas, and Kaylin. Thank you all for your hard work and late nights spent on the team. Despite the challenges and steep learning curves we have had to overcome at times this year, I'm so incredibly proud of the young leaders and engineers that you have turned out to be. Don't forget to take a step back tonight and appreciate how far each of you have come, and acknowledge the capabilities that you have developed in getting us a race-ready vehicle that we can all be proud of. Finally, to the entire team, it was a genuine pleasure to lead you through 2025. Watch you grow your skill sets and see so many of you step up into roles of responsibility. I hope that you have made the most of getting to be part of such an incredible team while studying at university. I hope you enjoy showing your friends and family the car tonight and getting to point out what you spent your year working on and learning about. In saying that, can you all please join me in thanking everyone in the room tonight for their efforts this year. Before we conclude tonight's formalities, I would like to especially mention our incredible business team led by Alicia putting this event together. We now welcome all of you to join us for refreshments and a close-up view of our car. Thank you for your attendance tonight. Please feel free to stick around, hop up on stage and chat to our team members. Thank you.
Photo before it goes forward? Yeah. Gotta get composite photo before everyone's done. Gotta get a photo before it's completely surrounded by people.
That's a huge improvement. Not easy to manufacture that. Yeah, we're really
It was worth
The side panels held on by super glue to stage, or are they actually taped?
They will be attached.
I finished up the design for that.
Yeah, we still that's what you want.
He's an expert.
Use that. Still fine. Are you happy?
tyres when I
she'll nominate him, she'll get a prize, and she won't agree with it. Tied in. Whatever he says. It's really not fair. Why do you get to choose? I suppose if they says if you, I mean no, I don't agree with it, but if you're fucking stupid. Every bit of the value of the car put on the discount on each girder to get the really good. Like, she should have it. What was it worth? 6 or 7? you know. Gone home. Yeah.